just to, before I get started on this, let me say we've got two talks here. We're going to be talking about Windows Ink, which is a dedicated Windows 10 type application. And a little bit later, we're going to be talking about Thunderbird, which is an email program. But Thunderbird is interesting because it's available on Macs, it's available on Linux, Ubuntu, Mint, and so forth. And it's also available on Microsoft Windows, any Windows, Windows XP, Windows Vista, whatever, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10. So we're going to have different pieces of the presentation for people with all different kinds of computers. So I didn't want you to feel left out, especially all the Mac users, especially Lon. Windows Ink is a feature that's been around probably for a year or two, and they keep advancing it a little bit more each time there's an update for Windows. The updates, incidentally, for Windows 10 generally come every 6 months. We're now into our March update with Windows 10, and there'll be another one in September typically. Now, when I say update, I'm talking about major updates where basically you probably 50% of the operating system is replaced by a newer operating system. I'm not talking about those updates that you get every 3 days that drive you crazy. Those are just patches for security issues and so forth. So, if you look in the lower corner of your screen, which we don't have to see, because I've got a picture of it up here. In the lower corner, this is the picture that you see. You see an icon showing messages, and since this icon is black, it means there's no messages. If somebody sent me an email, or if there was an emergency situation with the operating system and it was running out of memory, or who knows what, there's a dozen different messages that can pop up. This will turn white and you click on it and it tells you what the message is. Next you have a clock and a calendar. I don't know whether people realize this is a calendar. It's not just 7/13. If you go to the real one here and you click on it, presto, you get a calendar. So that's a very nice feature. And as you move along here, there are other icons. There's an icon for your email program and another icon for how much battery power you have. We're going to be looking at the icon that normally appears next to the clock. And everybody wonders what that symbol means. Well, what the symbol means is that somebody is holding a pen. You know, somebody's holding a pen and they're drawing an S. So, you know, these little squiggly lines over here, left and right, those are, that's what they're drawing. They're drawing an S, looks like that. And then this other line here, there's a pen going vertically up here. And if you look very closely, you can see a pocket clip for the pen. Gotta have a good imagination on some of these icons. Now, on some computers you won't see that, and you may wonder why. If you don't see the icon, it means that the icon itself has not been enabled. You still have the ink software on your computer. It's just that you don't see the icon. And what you do, you go down the bottom here, and you right-click on the taskbar, and there's an option here, Show Windows Ink Workspace button. Okay, so that's what it's referring to. It's referring to show that icon. So all you have to do is put a check mark there, and then you'll see it for the next, probably for the next 20 years, but certainly at least till the next update. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to assume here that I've already enabled it, so you do see the icon. And if I click the icon, up pops a section of the screen that has a number of different items on it. These are actually buttons. This is one big button, and here's another big button, and here's another big button. So there's 3 large buttons which represent the 3 parts of Windows Ink to get you started. And then there are some other little things that you can ignore for now. There are some recently used icons which really have nothing to do with ink. And there's some messages down at the bottom. Don't worry about that. So we've advanced to the point where you click this icon and you get 3 options: sticky notes, Sketchpad, and screen sketch. So let me simplify this screen a little bit. This is a printout that I'll be handing out a little bit later. It's a printout of some key points associated with the Ink Workspace. Now suppose I was looking at this piece of paper and I wanted to mark it up. Well, that's one of the things that the Ink Workspace is perfect for. If I bring this up here and I do a screen sketch, now I've got a copy of that screen that we just looked at, and I can modify it. I can put a circle around here, intro, opening the sticky space. Now I'm doing this with a mouse, and as you can see there, my artistic merits here are not very good with regard to a mouse. This is also designed for people that have computers with pens, hence the name of that icon that you're showing the pen. A lot of Windows 10 computers will work with a pen. Also, Microsoft sells tablets that run Windows 10, and all of the tablets that they sell also work with a pen. So you can imagine if you have a tablet that you're used to touching the screen on, you can move your finger around it, or you can use a regular stylus that you buy with the computer. You can make these notes as neat as possible. If you don't like something you see, we should be able to start erasing things like that. We can make a neater box here, sort of. I can do this better at home. I'm really having a rough time with this table here. Let's try that again. Can I do a box?
Drum roll.
This is really, really troublesome. You can also do other things. For example, you've got a whole list of options at the top here. There's one called a pencil, and I'm not quite sure what the difference between a pencil and a pen is at this point. They look about the same. You can do a highlighter. You can highlight something. You can just imagine a movie director looking at a script, and he wants to send back comments to the guy that wrote the script, and he's filling it with all kinds of markups. You can erase certain things here. Go back and forth. They do something to help you make it neater. They have a ruler, and I can draw. Oops. Let's get this. How's that? That's a nice straight line. And if I can move this around, draw another straight line. So now it's starting to look a little better. And there are ways of turning this, and I forgot how to do it actually. But you can change the angle. Let's see. We got something here. Previous. You notice when I'm putting the mouse here, it tells you what they have: ballpoint pen, pencil. If you click on it, you find you can do it all different colors and sizes. In fact, let's try that with the ruler. All sorts of graphic things. There was a comment there?
Yeah, the ruler has like, is that 45 degrees? Yeah, right there. Can you click on that?
Might be a combination of a key, Bruce.
Yeah. That's a homework assignment. What else can we do here? We've got touch writing. I can't demonstrate that. That's,
How about the cropping?
well, yeah, cropping is great. There you go. Just want to highlight some particular part of it. You crop it, check it off, and now there's your new image. And what are you going to do with it next? Well, what you could do is
Save it.
you can save it, or you could share it, and you could immediately go to your email. Let's see. Here's my email, and I can mail this attachment to somebody and say, please fix the movie script or whatever it is. So it makes your screen completely free form, and it gives you a new means of communicating to other people. There is a floppy disk here. Anybody know what a floppy disk is? It's funny. The floppy disk is one of the few icons that we still use. And if we just click that, up comes my file manager, and let's just put this on the desktop. Here we got desktop, sketch, save it, and oh, come on. You know what's happening here, the mail program is getting involved here because I opened the mail program. I'm going to save this, and let's just see what that looked like.
Hit the X up there.
I can't do what I wanted. Here's there it is. There's what I saved. If I double click on this, there's the note that I just created. If I want to print it, there's a printer right here, and here's what I'm going to print. I could print a copy for everybody.
Can you do it on a PDF file?
Pardon?
Can you use this tool on a PDF file? Can this tool be used on a PDF file?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's really it doesn't matter what the file is. In fact, we were actually looking at a PDF file when I first did it. Here's Use Windows Ink. This is a PDF file, so I was actually testing it for you there. Yeah. But, I mean, you can also do this, if we're looking at, if we bring up a browser here and look at Amazon, for example. Can you get up there? Say I'm looking at the Amazon screen and I wanted to clip out this belt, for example. Or, I can just go down here to Windows Ink. That's what I said. And screen print. So here's a copy of the screen. I can zero in on what I'm interested in, like so. I can say, let's see, we're going to check that out, and then we're going to put a message here that you know, this is a free. I can't do it. Oh, I'm having trouble. You can also F-R-E-E. You have no idea how hard I'm working at this. Anyway, you can save this, and then again, we can forward it to an email. Mail. Here's the mail. So I've taken something from Amazon, put it in an email, and I'm sending it out to somebody. So it's very flexible. Let's see what else. Have I covered all the options here? Touch writing, undo and redo, clipping, resume previous. I don't know how to define that. We'll have to experiment with that later on. And there's a trash bucket here in case you want to clear it. Save it. We talked about, just copy it. If I'm here, if I hit the copy button, that copies it into the paste buffer, and theoretically I should be able to go to my mail again. Let's bring up mail here. Mail. And new mail. And if I do there it is. I just do a cut and paste there, a copy paste, and presto, it's there. So you can put that in any program they're working on. For example, if you were working on an Excel spreadsheet and you want to drop a little picture into one of the cells, you could just do a cut and paste, or a copy from the other menu and then a paste into Excel. Very, very flexible. That's only one item. Let's go back here. There's, I'm kind of doing this in backwards order. The next one up, which is the middle one, that's a Sketchpad. And this works the same way. It's really the same program, except that you're not starting with the desktop, or you're not starting with whatever image you happen to have on the screen. In this one, you're completely free form, and in fact, this is a sample picture that Microsoft provides. I didn't draw that. Pretty nice there with the windmills. I suppose you could start to color them in if you wanted to. But you can you can just, clear all. Let's see, suppose I clear, there we go. So now we got a blank slate here, and we can just copy anything we want. So get the size up a little bit. There we go. So this is like an artist easel that comes out blank, whereas the previous one, you're actually starting with something. If you want to, well, I think that sound clear. Yeah. Okay. The last one of the major options here is sticky notes. So when you click that button, a sticky note appears, and this there have been about 150 sticky note programs that have been around for the past 25 years. So, and this is another one, okay? But this one works quite nicely. First of all, you can create a note here. I can actually type on the note. I believe I can sketch on. No, maybe not. Let's see what it says. Settings. Nope, I got to type on it. Okay. If this were a tablet Windows 10 machine, or if it had a pen input, if it was configured for pen input, it would also let me do the pen part. Yeah.
Can you paste your picture in there? With a keyboard?
I don't know.
Do a paste. You copied something to the clipboard already.
Your paste bin.
Maybe it's still there.
We could try here. Let me just X that out. See, when I X it out, it's still there. This will stay there forever. In fact, you'll just next morning when you come back, that it'll still be there. If I do let's try something simple. We'll do a print screen here. Whoops. Oh, I didn't expect that. So, okay. Let's see. If we go back here, no, it's not letting me do it. I think you have to have the pen input enabled to do pasting. Now you just hit the plus sign and you can have any number of sticky notes you want. Let's try something else here that's a little interesting. If we put in here appointment 9:30 Tuesday. Now, what happens, it's reading that, and it says, do you want to add a reminder? Okay, we'll add a reminder. Okay, sure, let's get your reminder going. As soon as you sign in, I can get started. Okay, well, let me just sign in then. I think
you're in.
Just looking.
I think it signed in automatically for me. Basically, what's happened here is that message that you wrote in the sticky note over here, somewhere I had a sticky note. There it is. This message that I wrote in the sticky note has now been transmitted to Cortana, and it's in my to-do list in Cortana, and Tuesday morning at 9:30 a.m., the computer's going to start beeping, telling me that there's something to do. And this works If you have a pen input, this works from handwriting as well. I've added some things on the handout, just as if you don't enable this icon at the bottom here by checking this like Windows Ink Workspace button, showing the Windows Ink button. If you don't enable that, you won't see that icon. But same token, if you don't enable Cortana, you won't have this feature also. And I've given you instructions on how to do that. What you have to do is enable Cortana Insights. So if we go down here at the bottom, I'm not sure everybody can see this, but I'm going to type in Cortana Enable Insights. Okay, so that's right here. We click on that, and we get some instructions on how to do that. I didn't expect the instructions though. Let's see. Can I back that up? Cortana. Enable instructions. Well, I can't follow that through, and I don't want to spend any more time on this, but let me just say that if you do follow the instructions, oops, you just have to follow the instructions. And it will link to Cortana, and it'll link to your any schedules that Cortana has. Incidentally, when you want to get rid of that, oh, there we go. Finally, it was buried. Enable Insights settings, and I've got this enabled, so it works. And we'll get rid of this. You can change those top bars to any color. You have about 5 colors. You can make these. So enjoy. If you could just pass those down. I think I have enough copies for everybody here. Screen set, the Sketchpad, sticky notes, and how to open the Ink Workspace. And this is included on everybody's Windows 10 machine. Well, I missed a couple obvious questions there, but I'll stick my neck out here, and if anyone has any further questions, I'll try to answer.
Bruce, I use the sticky notes from time to time, and sometimes they stay on the screen, but then if I go into some other app or something, they leave the screen and they're down on the taskbar.
Right. This does the same thing.
I mean, they won't
So they're not
stay on-
necessarily in your way,
Yeah.
but they're always around someplace for you to notice them. What I find that's great about them is that you completely forget about half of these notes, and then you turn the machine on the next day, and whoop, there they are. And, you're immediately reminded that you forgot to do something, or you got to do something.
Bruce, is Windows Ink on any of the earlier versions of Windows, or it just, again, the Windows 10?
As far as I know, it's only Windows 10. And it happened mostly as a sales pitch to get Microsoft to sell more tablets and more pen-enabled PCs. They have these dual-purpose PCs that are available that You can flip the screen completely back and the whole thing looks like a tablet. A heavy tablet. I tell you, if you have the money, well, I guess it's the same way with Apple, but they've got some very nice looking computers at the Microsoft store in Bridgewater. But they seem to be very expensive. Any more questions? No? Okay.
Well, let's thank Bruce for the first topic.
Yeah.